Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Plug weekly wrap up of the NFL Week 6. Of course, if you are checking everything out on Facebook, please make sure you like and share. If you are on Twitter, my Twitter handle is xwilliams81. You can check everything out on Twitter. And if you are on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to the Sports Plug on YouTube as well. We have a very, very special guest joining X and my boy Ishmael, of course, another guest or another host of Kim Folk and them.
Yes,
We
sir.
have a very special guest who's been on the show multiple times. That man Dooley.
What's
What
going
up?
on? What's happening? Proud to be here, man. Happy to have you be on the show, baby. You know?
Appreciate you for joining us, Dooley, all the way out there in California.
Absolutely, man. Golden State, baby.
Already. Let's get right into everything. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this was the best game of the week, and I'm not being biased. I'm just saying because of the way that the game played out on both sides of the ball, not just with the Titans, but also with the Texans. You gotta give a lot of credit to the Texans. I think this was the best game of the week. How you guys feel about it?
Honestly, to be honest, the best game of the week, in my opinion, was that beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys. But that was one of my favorite games.
All right,
And,
Stephen A.
but to be honest, about this Titans game, Texans, great game. I just want to give a big shout out to Derrick Henry because the way that man flew on that 80-yard run, you do not see backs that size running that fast. You feel me? Like literally, he was running at what
21.6 miles per hour. Let's
My
clock
man-
it.
My man, once upon a time, they clocked Reggie Bush at 20 miles per hour. And we know for a fact Bush is faster than Derrick Henry. So that just goes to show you how fast Derrick Henry is on that straightaway. You know what I mean?
Man, you said it right there. Man, the Oilers did their thing this week once again, proving me right that they are going to win the AFC South and that they are definitely a contender in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, bruh, there's nothing else that can be said about this man other than he is truly the king. Nobody wants to see this team when it comes playoff time because of Derrick Henry. And for him to be in this kind of form so early should scare the rest of the league. If he is going to continue doing this week in and week out, man, I'm even just a little bit scared for my Chiefs.
Just a little bit, and I'll be honest with you, that is what we are, of course, aiming for as a Titans fan, is to get back to the AFC Championship game. That is the minimum. We, of course, would like to make a Super Bowl appearance, but we have to start with winning the division, getting maybe once you, of course, win the division, you, of course, get a home playoff game, but also hopefully having home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And, of course, making it to the Super Bowl. But it takes one game at a time, 1 week at a time, because with the Titans, let's be real, a lot of people look at the Titans and say what they look at Ryan Tannehill when it comes to, they still look at him with the Dolphins. They don't believe in him because they still feel like he's not that good because of what happened with the Dolphins. That's understandable, but let's remember the team that he's playing on now and the offensive weapons he have around him and the offensive coordinator and also the head coach that allows him to do what he needs to do for this team because of the load that Derrick Henry is carrying on his back to help this team on the ground and also through the air with Ryan Tannehill. So it's one of those things for, as a Titans fan, watching this team since '97, I've never seen this type of offense ever. So this is a great thing to see as a Titans fan because I've never witnessed this before. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I honestly feel like this is the year for us to make it to the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl or bust year for us, and we just have to wait and see how things play out.
Well, I will say one thing, though, for you. Don't get too excited just yet.
Week by week. We have the Steelers next week. That's the game that I'm waiting for.
Well, I am saying you did give up 36 points to the Texans. Of all teams, the Texans. Not to say that, no disrespect to Deshaun Watson, but that receiving core that he has, they've been in and out. They don't have a running game. You traded Nuke for this running back who you don't even give him the carries that he needs. You show no trust in him whatsoever. So why did you trade away one of the top 3 receivers in the league for a running back you're not even going to use?
Now, speaking of wide receivers, remember in the pre-show before we hopped on this live broadcast, we talked about the rumors that are going on with the Texans right now. Would you like to speak upon that?
I mean, so they're saying that the Texans are open to trading any of the receivers on the roster right now, which to me makes absolutely zero sense. You went and you traded away your top receiver to give Will Fuller that spot, I'm assuming, right? Why are you going to be willing to trade him away? What are you going to get for him? I don't think any team's coming in with a 1 or a 2 for that. Then Brandon Cooks, you just traded for him. Are you hoping to get the same thing that you gave away for him back in return? Doubt that's going to happen. Randall Cobb, nobody wanted to give that man the type of money y'all gave him. Why do you think anybody's going to want to trade that man on that contract? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know where these reports are coming from. I don't know who's dumb enough to even want to come in and pick one of these receivers up for something that I think the Texans are going to want. I'm assuming they want a 2 or a 3 at the least. Why? I'm not going to do that. I don't think any GM, unless somebody hires Bill O'Brien to be their GM, then I don't think it's going to happen.
Exactly, which is not going to happen anytime soon, because when you look at the Texans, you're in a complete debacle, okay? For one, who hires the coach as the general manager? You should have known it'd be a bust. You get what I'm saying? From the judge. Then, now, I remember about 10 years ago when O'Brien was actually in the playoffs with the Texans. And we all remember the Arian Foster, Andre Johnson days, you know what I mean? So he started off great, but ever since those days, he has not been as dominant of a coach and had the same teams in order to succeed. So I'm glad the Texans fired him, just for the record. You know what I mean? They need a fresh start. They need a new beginning. You know what I mean?
Well, like me and Ish talked about last week's episode, they did win last week after they fired Bill O'Brien. And moving forward, it's going to be very, 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 not just big, but very interesting to see how this situation goes with the Texans on where they take this new coach, where they're quote unquote trying to ship these wide receivers already before the trade deadline hits. Watson, who is he going to be able to throw the ball to if they trade these wide receivers away? And what are they going to get back, for them going into the future? Maybe they're trying to get somebody for next year, but let's remember what's going on with college football right now. Not everybody's playing. So the guys that are coming in, are they even going to be ready to make an impact in the NFL if you're a second, third, or fourth rounder? So it's a lot of questions that the Texans are going to have to answer moving forward. So let's stop with the Texan bash and let's go ahead and let's move on. I appreciate you, Jordan, for checking out on Twitter. He said, protect Watson, invest in a better O-line. This is very true. Aaron on Facebook, he says, King Henry. He says, Cowboys for life. And he also says the hate is real when it comes to the Cowboys. Ain't no hate, just...
Oh, don't put that man comments up anymore.
It is what it is.
Don't put that man comments up anymore.
Let's go ahead and move on to another AFC South team with the Colts. They took on the Bengals at home. I don't know if you guys checked out this game, but the Bengals took a lead in the beginning of this game. It looked like the Bengals were going to take this game pretty handily. But all of a sudden, the Colts came storming back with Old Man Rivers and ended up putting 21 unanswered on the board and ended up winning that game.
No, honestly, I heard about this game. I didn't see this game, but what I will tell you is Joe Burrow's a man, and he's very poised for being such a young quarterback. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Phillip is Phillip. Honestly, you could argue Phillip being better than the quarterbacks he got drafted with in Big Ben and Eli. Phillip just hasn't been as successful team-wise. But to say he's not just as good of a, put it this way, skill-wise, I think we need to look at Eli stats and Phillip Rivers stats. I'm just saying he for sure can compete with Eli.
At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, with those three guys, it comes down to championships. No matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it, because all three of those guys got numbers, and Phillip Rivers could have the best numbers out of all three. But guess what? He ain't got no Lombardi.
Granted, they went to different situations. They went to different organizations.
But let's also remember Phillip Rivers, and again, this ain't a Phillip Rivers bashing, but let's remember with Phillip Rivers when he was with the Chargers, he had opportunities to make a Super Bowl. He had pretty good teams with Antonio Gates and LT and Sean Marion defense. They had pretty good pretty good teams. Him as a quarterback didn't make it over the hump. Now remember, that was the same Chargers organization that wanted to pick a Phillip Rivers over a Drew Brees, who ended up winning a Super Bowl with the Saints. So I'm not, if Phillip Rivers was that good or wanted to do something with this Colts team, this is the year to show it.
I definitely agree with you in that sense that this is his year. If he wants to make that noise or he wants to make that claim that he deserves to be up in that conversation with Ben Roethlisberger and Eli Manning, as far as when we talk about like best quarterback out of that draft, your legacy, championships, I think this is his year. This is his best opportunity with the Colts. He went to the right organization for that opportunity. However, I just don't see them getting past the Oilers in that division. I don't see that happening. I don't see them getting past the Chiefs in the AFC. I don't see them getting past the Ravens. I mean, there are a number of teams I can list that the Steelers, I don't see them beating some of these top tier teams. While I think that they are doing the right thing and they're moving in the right direction, at the end of the day, I do not see them being a real championship contender with Phillip Rivers, and I think his time is past. I think really this season, maybe next season, and it's done for my man. I don't see it happening.
I agree.
Colts on from him quick.
Okay, so quick question, just for the record. Let's say Phillip wins the Super Bowl, right? Then where does he rank amongst those three? Just personal opinions.
You talking about, of course, with the Colts, or are you talking about next year if he goes somewhere else?
Just the Super Bowl period. Where does he rank between him, Eli, and Big Ben as a quarterback? Mind you, those are players that have won multiple Super Bowls. You know, but just because they won multiple, like you said, it's all about championships. So if Phillip Rivers ever gets the monkey off of his back, he's definitely in the middle of those two. If not,
I think it just depends on who you are and what you're looking at, because I think honestly, even with one, he's still third. I'm still taking Big Ben and Eli, and then Phillip.
The reason why I say that is he has a negative perception around him. So I think that with Big Ben and Eli, people see them as championship caliber quarterbacks. I think when people think of Phillip Rivers, they think he's good, but a lot of people will also mention turnovers. He throws a lot of interceptions.
He does.
Some people would say he's cost his team games because of the interceptions he's thrown in crucial moments.
And my better cut y'all can also say he also is a little bratty on the football field when it comes to a lot of trash talking. A lot of defensive players do not like the way that Phillip Rivers acts on the field. I'm not saying that he's a bad person. I'm not saying that he shouldn't do that or anything like that. Hey, do the way you want to do, the way you want to play on the field. But when it comes to being a quarterback, last time I checked, we've all played football, right? There's a certain standard to being a quarterback that you're supposed to live up to certain standards, because if that was Cam Newton doing the same thing that Phillip Rivers is doing, the media would have a field day on him, okay? So let's not act like what Phillip Rivers has done again for the last 17 years. He can talk smack and get in people's faces all he wants to. He still got 0 Lombardis to show for it. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm tired of talking about the Colts and the Bengals. To be honest with you, the Bengals, I think Joe Burrow, he'll get a lot better throughout the season, but that season is dead for them. Falcons and Vikings. Like I talked to Ish about this on the pre-show, the Falcons, apparently they want to show up when I don't pick them to win. I thought the Vikings were going to show up this game. Apparently the Falcons did. Had a hell of a game. They scored 10 points every quarter that game and put a 40 piece on the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know how I feel about this game, it's all cute, but neither one of these teams are winning the championship. I mean, the Falcons, honestly, I'm going to be honest. Matt Ryan is one of the most overrated quarterbacks of this era. When you think about it, because year in, year out, this man can't even consistently win. You know what I mean?
I got a question. Okay, I got a question. Okay, we just talked about a quarterback before him. Is Phillip Rivers not more overrated than Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan's been to Super Bowl though.
No, it doesn't matter.
But it does. But I'm just saying, Phillip Rivers haven't been to Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's been to Super Bowl. I'm just Matt Ryan's won an MVP.
Shit, Matt Ryan had a specimen at receiver.
Okay, I understand that. So Antonio Gates has been his security blanket for the last 15 years. What are you talking about right now? What are we talking about? Antonio Gates ain't one of the best tight ends to ever play the game.
Tight end versus a receiver.
Absolutely.
Okay. Look, this is what. Look. The point of what I'm getting at is still that is an MVP caliber quarterback with Matt Ryan, and that is a guy that has been to a Super Bowl. I understand he's overrated. I have no problems talking about that. But to say that to say that he's the most overrated quarterback of the last 10 years, I don't want to say that just yet. I'll take Phillip Rivers over Matt Ryan, but I'll let you continue. I apologize for interrupting.
No, it's okay. I mean, honestly, it's very debatable, but Matt Ryan has also, the media has given it to Matt Ryan more than Phillip Rivers. The media has called Matt Ryan the next best thing. You get what I'm saying? Phillip Rivers, they did that, but slightly. Matt Ryan, all I'm saying is he has not lived up to expectation. And neither has Phillip Rivers, But Matt Ryan's expectations were higher than Phillip Rivers. You get what I'm saying?
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think that with this game, X, we need to work on your picking skills because definitely I had the Falcons going on this one because lo and behold, you get rid of the coach that needed to go and they win a game. It's the same thing that happened with the Texans. I knew it was going to happen. They got a new voice in the locker room, so they played different. They came out, they wanted to show and prove something to everybody, and that's what they did. Although against a lame duck in the Vikings. Because let's just be honest, Kirk Cousins, bye.
I mean, for better less. I don't know what else to say on that one.
Dude, my man Kirk Cousins, you've been trying to prove to people that you deserve that money that they gave you. Now reports are coming out that Mike Zimmer didn't even want him when they went and got him as a free agent. Dude, they're not playing well. They got rid of Stephon Diggs. Boy, does that look stupid. I just don't even really know what to say about the Vikings. The Falcons should not have won the game only based on the fact that there's nothing there for them. They're not really playing for much, I guess. And the Vikings came in and just laid an egg at home. So
can I say the one bright side that the Vikings actually have moving forward is that they have a hell of a rookie wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. He had 9 catches, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
So I'll say this. Kirk Cousins might not be there for a while, but if you keep Justin Jefferson, you get a quarterback in there, y'all can make something happen in Minnesota because we've seen Minnesota in just our lifetime. They've had teams. They just can't get over the hump. Even with a team like Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper and Chris Carter, just can't get over the hump. But they always, for some reason, they find a way to rebuild and they're back into the mix. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they move on from Kirk Cousins, find a way to dump that salary, and find a way maybe go get a veteran quarterback. Maybe go get a backup somewhere. Who knows to maybe just make the offense easier and just ease their way into rebuild mode, I should say.
Personally, I think they need to go through the draft. That's just me. They need a nice new young buck ready to play, who's hungry, ready to learn. I think they should personally start over. First of all, nobody wants to play in Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't exactly have a history of receiving the best free agent acquisitions. You know what I mean? Like trades. Nobody wants to go to snowy Minnesota below zero.
Well, they play inside now. Remember, they do play inside.
Absolutely, but also we have to remember I wasn't just discussing inside, but where people want to live.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true as well. That's true as well.
Just saying.
This is true. You're not wrong. Speaking of places where people don't really care to live at is Foxborough. Broncos versus Patriots. This is another game that I missed because I thought the Patriots would get back on track and find a way to get back to 500. And the Broncos came to play. Their defense came and took it to Cam Newton and made him turn the ball over, 3 times. And the Patriots right now are 2 games under 500 for first time since 2002. And I'll be honest with you, if I'm a Patriots fan, I would be a little nervous right now.
Definitely. I agree, because let's just be honest. Who's winning the debate between Belichick and Tom Brady? Is it looking like, was it Brady all along, or was it Belichick? Right now, it's looking like Brady.
Well, I'll say Brady's looking good because of his surroundings, but let's remember with this Patriots team, a lot of players opted out before the season started, and a lot of players also on that team prior to the year prior when Brady was on that team have left to go to other teams if they didn't opt out. So they are playing with a skeleton crew, especially on that defensive side of the ball. And if you look at that, the offensive weapons that Cam has to work with, it's kind of like being at Carolina, but worse.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So it's not an indictment on Belichick coaching. If they make it an 8-8, I don't think nobody looks at Belichick and be like, "Oh man, you needed Tom Brady." If he goes 4-12, you might probably look at him like, "Oh, that wasn't a good season." But I just think because of what's going on with the Patriots, their expectations are not that high this year, and they'll be happy just to get to 500.
And I don't know why, personally, year in, year out, Bill Belichick coaching the team, a Super Bowl is expected. Yes, they have a new quarterback, but I'm just saying the expectations of that franchise, that locker room, is a championship. You know what I mean? But it's not going to happen this season. And just for the record, I saw my man twist his face over there when I said Tom Brady. I actually have Bill Belichick being the reason of everything that's occurred the last 20 years. Okay. Now, I was just judging based off what we're seeing so far, their first season being away from each other. You know what I mean? So it's like a little bit of a toss-up. It's not like the Bucs are undefeated and the Patriots are struggling. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a toss-up right now.
So I'm gonna go ahead, and if y'all want to go, if people want to hate on me or whatever, that's fine. I'm gonna say I still got Belichick in that, just like you do. And I would even say that the Patriots are in the spot that they are, even though Cam missed the game, because of Cam Newton. I'm sorry to say it. Yeah, he won an MVP. I don't think that Cam Newton, as much as everybody was all hyped up and like, oh yeah, Cam to the Patriots, I don't think it was a good fit. I don't think that Cam Newton is the right person to run that offense. I don't think that Cam Newton, with the weapons that they have in New England, Tom Brady, we were even discussing last year about the lack of weapons in New England for Tom Brady. Then you bring a quarterback who had weapons in Carolina, even though they're not the best weapons. We see what Teddy Bridgewater is doing with them with the addition of Rodney Anderson. But with DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel, you see what Teddy Bridgewater is doing with them. I don't think that Cam Newton is there going to raise the level of the receivers that were there and couldn't even do it with Tom Brady. So for me, I just wasn't that excited when Cam went there. I was still skeptical. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, where we were talking about Buffalo in New England and who might win that division. And I even told you, I was like, I'm still not sure on New England. My only thing was head-to-head, New England has had Buffalo's number. So I was like, let's wait and see when they play each other. But for me, I've never been sold on Cam Newton running that New England offense. Defense still looks good. They had 2 interceptions on Drew Lock. They were doing their thing, although Philip Lindsay did run all over them. But, they held them to 18 points. So for me, I just don't know if, I'm sorry to say it, Cam might get benched for Jarrett Stidham.
We'll see.
You heard it here.
We'll see.
He'll probably get benched for Jarrett Stidham.
All right. We'll see.
It's possible. He's not playing great football. Not at all.
We'll see. Christine Robichaux, of course, checking out the show. She said, Dynasty over.
Yes,
for the
it
Patriots. It definitely is. Let's go ahead and talk about Toilet Bowl number 1, Washington football team versus the New York Football Giants. This was a old school rough 'em tough 'em 19-20 game right here, and to be completely honest, this was a okay game till the end of the game when Washington actually was able to drive down the field and score a touchdown. And instead of kicking a field goal to tie the game, they went for 2.
Idiots.
They went for 2. Did not complete the 2-point conversion and ended up losing the game. Yes, I agree. Yes, they are idiots. Go ahead. You're on the road. Go ahead and take that to overtime, divisional game. Go take that to overtime and go play.
Basically.
But Ron Rivera, as that coach, that's Riverboat Ron. You know how he goes. He wanted to, I guess, rock the ship a little bit and try and get up out of there with a win, even though they didn't deserve it. And I understand the call, but let's all be real. Washington, both of these teams. I'll say this: if both of these teams were in different divisions, this season would be over with. But unfortunately, because they are in the NFC least, they both still have an opportunity to make it to the playoffs. Goodness. So I can't even say, hey, both of you guys need to give up on the season. You really can't for both of these teams because they really have a legit shot of making it to the playoffs. So for both of these teams, even though they were just in Toilet Bowl number 1, they have an opportunity to still make the playoffs.
That's crazy, Yeah. And what's scary is where the NFC East came from. Growing up, the NFC East, we know
was one of the best divisions.
Yeah. And every single team in that division was at least average or better. Every single team.
And your favorite team is the Washington football team.
Yes. Long history for those of you that don't know. When Sean Taylor got killed, that was one of my favorite players. Ever since then, I vouched to that franchise, okay? We haven't won much, okay? But I'm still sticking with him for my boy ST. But you know what? Unless we make some changes in that front office, okay? And Haskins isn't the answer, even though we haven't seen enough, but I don't feel like Haskins is the answer. Yeah, I said it, okay?
You haven't seen enough of the man. He didn't even get a shot.
You're right, man. But I just have a feeling
feeling.
Exactly.
Kyle Allen is that man.
I got a feeling.
Hey, let me ask you this: if he was the answer, he would be starting right now.
I don't agree with that.
Nobody's starting. Nobody great.
The whole team is trash, man.
They're trash.
The whole team is trash. I'm not gonna blame it on a rookie quarterback. Damn it.
No, my point is, why isn't the kid starting at this point?
I think you want to go, Ish.
Because it's not Ron Rivera's guy. Number 1. Number 2. There's this stigma with black quarterbacks, I guess, that they just. I mean, he didn't even get a fair shot. Let's look at Sam Darnold in New York, who hasn't won a game. This man went out and at least won his first game of the season and was still putting up decent numbers even when they were losing. Then for y'all to just bench this man for Kyle Allen, which, okay, Kyle Allen had a decent game, 31 for 42, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Sure, whatever. That's a decent game. But to me, I think Dwayne Haskins could have done the same thing against New York Giants. So it doesn't make sense to me that you bench a guy that was drafted in the first round without even giving the man a shot, other than it's a new coach that wanted to go with his own guy, and it's a black quarterback, and black quarterbacks never get the kind of leash that white quarterbacks get, because Sam Darnold is in the same boat, and he is not winning any games, and we still sticking with him. Kirk Cousins over there losing games in Minnesota. They gave that man a big contract after he went and lost in Washington. I mean, he wasn't really winning games like that. Went and got a big contract in Minnesota. Look at what he's doing now. Like, why is he still starting? There are too many quarterbacks around the league that get all these opportunities to go out and lose games. And then you got Dwayne Haskins, who was actually playing okay with the weapons that he had. I mean, let's look at this backfield, for example. J.D. McKissick, 8 carries, 41 yards. And Antonio Gibson, 9 carries, 30 yards. Dude, what is that? You don't even got a running back. You gave away Adrian Peterson for this. Like,
so stupid. I don't know why, and that's why I'm getting tired of this team.
The organization. It's the organization. Starts from the top.
For he had 1,000 yards last season. Is he old? Maybe, but you could have squeezed out a couple seasons out of AP. You know, and matter of fact, if AP was still there, that would have been perfect for Haskins, somebody to hand it off to. You know what I mean? So now the kid doesn't even have anybody to hand it off to. He is a gunslinger. However, he's the type of gunslinger I feel that needs a running back. I don't think Haskins can come out 5 wide all day. You know, that's just me.
He needs the offense like Baker Mayfield, pretty much what you're saying.
You know,
he needs that running game, and then also, I got Lamar more of a running style for him, not passing. But I got you though.
Right. Lamar cannot come out 5 wide all game.
Nah.
They'll barely move the ball. You feel me?
They be running hitches all game.
Exactly. You know, but yeah, bro, it's sad.
It's all good. Let's go ahead and move it on to another NFC least team. The Eagles hosted the Ravens, and this game pretty much went. I'm pretty sure everybody thought it would go with the Ravens winning, but the Eagles made a late surge in that game, and I don't know about you guys. I respect the Eagles a little bit. They showed a little bit of heart this game because even though they were outmanned, have a lot of injuries coming into this game, have a lot of injuries on the season, they didn't go out there and just lay down and just let the Ravens just punk them. They at least fought. No more victories in the NFL. We got that. But the Eagles are going to have to figure it out moving forward because let's remember, like we just talked about the prior segment, it's the NFC least. This you can win 7 games and win the division. So the Eagles still have a chance of making it to the playoffs. And I honestly feel like, and we'll get to the Cowboys real soon later on in this broadcast, I feel like right now the Eagles have a better opportunity of winning the NFC East than the Cowboys.
Right, you just trying to suck up to Christine.
Not at all. No, not at all.
Because there is no reason for you to give these dudes a moral victory. There is no moral victory here. They lost again. So it's just like at this point, I don't know what somebody needs to do to get the NFC East teams to start playing and winning games. Other than they just going to have to play each other week in and week out. Philly, you got Carson Wentz there. I understand you don't really have a lot of receivers at the moment, but you got Miles Sanders who had ran 9 times for 118 yards. Now, when you got a running game, people normally are able to put a passing game, play action, something with that, right? I'm not seeing anything out of the Eagles that makes me excited. I just see a team that I'm like, you kind of could have won, maybe, possibly, but there's nothing exciting there. There's nothing that's really telling me this is a team that's going to go and win. The only thing that helps them is that they're in this terrible division and they have time to try to get better. I mean, that's really all they got. The time is their friend right now because hopefully they can get some receivers back with time. Hopefully they can start playing a little bit better with time. And definitely, like you said, they're the only team that I can see winning this division. The Cowboys, unless Andy Dalton start doing better, which we can talk about that later, I don't see the Cowboys winning the division, especially with that defense. The Washington football team, no, not at all. And the Giants, they just beat the other bad team in that division. So,
they beat themselves. Christine, of course, the Cowboys have had way more of their team and should be winning games. They have 0 starting receivers. Sanders and Ertz left the game and are out. We understand that. We already said that you guys have injuries. Everybody has injuries. 49ers have injuries. Everybody has injuries, okay? That's welcome to football. There are no excuses, but like Dooley said as well, you feel like he is the O word. Just want to say that right quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Carson Wentz is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, okay? For one, you ship Nick Foles out of town, the man that got the job done.
Thank you. Raise the roof. Raise the roof. I say that all the time. Yes, sir.
Comment, Christine.
You know,
the man coming for y'all.
See, when it came back to that, everybody was like, okay, you ship Foles out of town and you keep the young MVP. I was like, the young MVP is injury prone, and this guy just won you a Super Bowl. So why don't you ship the young guy out of town and keep the more veteran, experienced quarterback? Mind you, Foles is still a young guy. Foles is about what, 28, 29? You know, anyways,
Foles young.
Yeah, he's only a couple years older than Wentz. You know, it's not like he's 5 to 10 years older than Wentz. You know what I mean? So Philadelphia just sucks as a city in sports in general. And just talking about Philadelphia in sports just hurts me. You get what I'm saying?
Christine says, you gave the Patriots an excuse for skeleton crew, but don't give it to the Eagles. Well,
you know how I explain that?
I was going to...
Go here.
Well, yeah. we can start off with that, but there's other reasons for that as well. And shout out to Justin watching the broadcast on YouTube. He says thoughts on Le'Veon Bell signing. We'll get to that when we talk about the Chiefs game, so please stick around for that. He did say if the Giants beat the Eagles and the Cowboys lose this week, the G-men are first.
God forbid.
Yes, God forbid. That would be pretty bad of the NFC least, but it'll be another thing for us to be able to talk about on next week's episode. Now let's get to a better division than that division.
Yes.
Now, besides the game that I really wanted to watch, of course, the Titans and the Texans, this game was the game that I really want to keep my eyes out on because I wanted to see if the Browns were going to bring what the Browns have been bringing the last couple of weeks. Are they going to bring this new Browns team to Pittsburgh? Are they going to show up? What is going to happen? Baker Mayfield going to have his swag? Odell, Jarvis, the running game. Are they going to... They scored 7 points.
Mm-hmm. The last week you were bigging them up. You were talking that. Let me hear it.
They scored 7 points. I mean, I don't feel like the Browns are going to do anything when it comes to Super Bowl or AFC Championship game. I'm not saying anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like with the talent they have, they should at least make a playoff appearance. I'm not saying they don't have to win, but at least make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But this was the opportunity to show the rest of the world that, hey, we are here. We are a new Browns team the same way the Titans had to do, like I said, against the Bills last week. This was the Browns' opportunity, and same thing with the Titans with next week against the Steelers. They have an opportunity to show the world that this is a new team. Mm-hmm. The Browns did not do it this week, and they missed an opportunity. And they're going to have to refocus and regroup and figure out what are they going to do moving forward. Because if Odell and Jarvis are not happy, you know how they play. They don't like to play that hard if they are not happy. They'll play hard when things are going right, 100, 110. When things aren't going right, you can see the body language. I'm just saying. It's a lot easier to see the body language that Odell expresses, and Cleveland could be a sinking ship real quick because they don't know how to win compared to the Steelers. Dooley?
So, honestly, what year is Baker Mayfield? This is his 3rd season, right?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get to the playoffs this year, get rid of the kid. We've seen enough of Baker. Let's just be fair on it. 3 years is enough, okay, for the Heisman Trophy winner, first pick of the draft. You've had 3 seasons to take us to the promised lands. You
got that swag, though.
Say that again?
He got that swag, though.
Right. I get
got them commercials, too.
Hey, all that sells tickets. The swag and the commercial sells tickets, but it just doesn't win games. And let me tell you something about Odell. And you guys might not like this. Odell's a little bit overrated. You know, just a tad.
I didn't say I didn't like it, but
not even that. He's overrated.
Yes. Just I mean, honestly, Odell is nothing special if you ask me. He can catch the ball. He has a nice one-hand catch. Cool. Everybody keeps talking about that one grab. Oh my God. Matter of fact, did the Giants even make the playoffs that year? Like Eli and them might have not even made the playoffs. But anyways, that Jarvis Landry is also overrated.
I agree.
There's nothing great about Jarvis.
Oh, got a lot of comments today. Ooh.
Yes. So when you talk to me about those receivers not being in the game, yeah, that just goes to show you who they are. You get what I'm saying? Because real receivers are still playing. They're still running routes. You get what I'm saying? Giving Baker opportunities. The real key to their offense is that running game. When you talk about Kareem Hunt, let me tell you something about Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt is a man. Yeah, he's a man. And he runs the ball hard. Just for the record. That's all I got to say about this.
So, so let me just go ahead and tell y'all right now. Baker Mayfield, 10 for 18, 119 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Does that sound like a winning quarterback to you? Not to me. He got benched for Case Keenum. I'm going to say that again. Case Keenum.
You of age, Greg. Go Cougs.
H-Town boy.
Really, when you look at this game was bad on a number of reasons for the Cleveland Browns. Let me just say, congrats to the Steelers for beating the team you were supposed to beat. I'm not even really going to big y'all up on that. But let's talk about the Cleveland Browns because X was trying to give them all the props last week and say, they might be the Browns. It might be turning the corner. They might be here.
We gotta wait and see. Week by week. This is the NFL. It's the NFL. You gotta see week by week.
Don't have to wait and see. Dooley just said it. What makes that offense go is their run game. Well, you only gave Kareem Hunt the ball 13 times for 40 yards because you were behind. This is a team that even if they make the playoffs with the extra playoff spot, you will be playing from behind, which then you are counting on Mr. Baker Mayfield to make these plays. And like we just said, Dooley, I agree 100%. These receivers are overrated in Cleveland. They are overrated. Now, if you want to argue that they're like decent receivers, they're good receivers, sure. The fact that Odell can catch the ball one-handed, he's a receiver in the NFL.
And you're supposed to do that.
The ball. Like, come on now. I expect him to do that at the bare minimum. So when you talk about these receivers, though, as receivers who are going to go out and make plays for you, I'm sorry. They make some wide open catches, but they not really making the plays like a Julio Jones or DeAndre Hopkins. Like neither one of them are the receiver I'm calling on when I need a play in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry to say it. So the Cleveland Browns, if you're going to be playing from behind, you will not be winning games. So I'm not taking you seriously. I don't care about you because when it comes down to it, all the top teams in the AFC, when you play them, you will lose because if you can't run the ball, you don't have an offense.
Shout out to my boy Timothy McLeod checking everything out on YouTube. He said that's all they need right now is seats filled. He said if they was consistent, easily could be a top team. Well, hey, that's the thing. If was a fifth, we'll all be drunk as well. And Christine says Steelers have really only beaten teams they were supposed to be. We'll see about them this week. I agree with the Titans as well. Titans had to do the same thing. So next week. No, they beaten teams that they were supposed to, and they beaten teams they weren't supposed to. So
I think that's different though.
Okay, well, anyways, next week, stop calling on the Oilers. Next week, we're gonna figure out between the Steelers and the Titans. We're gonna figure out what's gonna happen with both those teams. Can't wait. All right, Bears and Panthers. Still got question marks on both of these teams because I don't know what the hell is going on with both of these teams. Because, like it said last week, now that they are the ugliest 5-1. NFL football team right now, and the Panthers Teddy Two Glove. I'm sorry, not that great of stats. 2 interceptions on the day. Didn't play his greatest game.
The first one was a fluke, though.
You said what happened?
The first interception he threw was a fluke. It was a tip ball that
tip ball get what? Tip balls get what?
They get picked. But
all right.
It was a. I'm not gonna say that he threw like a bad pass. It was just receiver dropped the ball. Okay,
I got you.
But I don't even want to say anything about the Bears, man. They are the ugliest 5-1 team I've ever seen in my life.
They get her done.
I'm so tired of that. Like I'm tired of them.
Did you see the rushing yards David Montgomery got on the day, leading the Bears in rushing?
My man.
Leading the Bears in rushing with 58 yards on the day.
You know, honestly, the Bears are so funny that they're 5-1, yet none of us even have confidence in them. You get what I'm saying?
Not at all.
I picked the Panthers to win that game just because the Panthers were on a win.
They should have won.
I picked the Bears. I got lucky because I was looking at that game. I was like, wow, I should have picked the Panthers to win that game. And the Panthers they choked in that game. Yeah,
very close. You know, but as far as the Panthers go, they aren't who we thought they were. You know, honestly, to quote the great coach Denny Green, So honestly, the Panthers, I see them actually picking back up next week, but the Bears, I still do not believe in them.
Can I show you guys? Can I show you guys a quick little funny comment? Here goes Christine again with the I thought Foles was so great, man. See, here we go. We talk about this all the time. We talk about Nick Foles playing for the Philadelphia Eagles in the Philadelphia scheme that he was playing in. That's what we are talking about. We're not talking about Nick Foles playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars or Nick Foles playing with the Chicago Bears or Nick Foles playing in high school at Westlake, Texas. We're talking about Nick Foles playing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Stay on topic. Y'all know what we're talking about. Stop trying to switch up the topic, Christine. Take your L. All right.
I will argue this with Christine real quick, though.
I'm listening.
Nick Foles with the Bears and with the Jaguars is the same Nick Foles he was in Philly, in the fact that he finds a way to win games somehow. I mean, I'm not saying that even when he was in Philly, I'm not saying it was always the prettiest looking game, but he found a way to win games and won the Super Bowl with Philly. Carson Wentz has not done any of that so far. So
she said that scheme is gone when the OC left. I'll say it again. Well, go get the OC, bring it back, and run it back. Run it back.
You a Philly fan or what, Christine?
Yes.
Okay.
Die hard.
I
Yes.
see.
All right. Now, this is Toilet Bowl number 2 on the day. Lions versus Jags. This is one of the games I didn't know who was going to show up. I thought the Jags would show up. It's a home game. You know, it's the NFL. You would think the home team would show up. They did not. The Lions went ahead and took care of the Pussycats of the AFC South, and with the Lions at 2-3 with that division, I mean, I'm trying to figure out this Lions team still. It's 5 games in. We're in week 6, and I don't really know what's going on. They don't have an identity. I don't really know what's going on with this Lions team. I really don't. Can you guys help me out?
Honestly, Matt Stafford. It's like I don't even know what to say about him. I like Matt Stafford more than I like Matt Ryan, to be honest with you.
I don't.
That's just
I
me.
don't.
That's
I don't. Matt Stafford hasn't proved me nothing compared to Matt Ryan. Matt Stafford has one shining moment when he dislocated his shoulder, popped it back in, and went on a game-winning drive. Other than that, I mean, you have Megatron. You want to talk about having receivers? He had Megatron for 8 years. Come on now.
It's equivalent to Julio for 10 years.
No, Megatron is better. Megatron's better.
Okay, but if Megatron's a 10, don't you tell me Julio's less than a 9.5.
I was gonna say 9.5. Yeah, I was gonna say 9.5. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You can't put it this way. If somebody had a choice between Megatron and Julio, you can't go wrong.
I'm going Megatron, but here's the thing as well. If you have a receiver like Megatron, you can't win a playoff game, an MVP, most passing yardage in a season. Like, I'm just saying that. But continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, but that also goes back to playing for one of the worst franchises in NFL history.
This is true.
This is very true. Worth much, a city you just can't win in, and nonetheless, Detroit is a haunted sports city. Yes, the Pistons have won a few championships here and there. How many championships have the Tigers won? How many championships?
3.
The Lions.
Lions won 0. The Pistons have won 3.
So there's just not enough championship blood going on in that city. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say that. Don't you ever tell my dad that. It'll slap shit out your ass. No, but seriously though, Detroit, people just like you in Oakland, they love their city. So it don't matter if they won once or they won 100. They gonna make sure they let you know.
Definitely. And the Jags aren't even anything to discuss.
Not at all.
Same old Jags. You remember when the Jags were good a few seasons back? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they're back to the same old Jacksonville Jaguars. They've always been.
I would argue that has a lot to do with defense and a little bit with offense potentially, but I mean, James Robinson so far, the undrafted rookie running back, he's looked pretty good except for this game. He had 12 carries, 29 yards. Wasn't the best, but they were playing from behind. But Keelan Cole, 6 receptions, 143 yards. And now I'm hearing that Everybody except for Laviska Shenault and DJ Shark are on the trading block from the Jaguar receiving.
Of course they are.
So Keelan Cole, you got Chris Conley, a couple of those guys, they're on the trading block.
Hey, don't be surprised if the Texans might make a swap.
Oh Lord, please.
I'm just saying. You know how they GM out here in Houston.
Please, no.
Might get some Jag receivers for some Texan receivers.
Gosh.
Just say, hey, let's go ahead and wrap this up right quick. Let's get to the Jets and the Dolphins. This was a shutout by the Dolphins, and I think this was the most complete game from the Dolphins, being able to do it on both sides of the ball. Like I said, with the shutout on the defensive side, and also the appearance for the first time with Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, so I got a problem. My problem is, so you win this game, right? Although against the Jets, who we're not even going to dignify talking about them. And now the reports are coming out that you're going with Tua as the starter.
The reports came out today that Tua has now been officially named the starter moving forward.
Where is that coming from? Like, why? Can I just understand why are you risking this man during the season?
From what I've seen from people that have been reporting with the Dolphins, apparently Brian Flores and Ryan Fitzpatrick has done nothing but great things easing Tua into this role, because Ryan Fitzpatrick has known since day one, since he got the starting job, that he's not going to be the starter moving forward. And I agree with you when it comes to maybe this is not the right time to put Tua in, because I was scratching my head as well when the report came out this morning that Tua was named the starter, because usually you hear this after a loss. So it's kind of weird, but
or when you're playing for nothing.
But hold up. But maybe this might be a spark, and maybe they've seen something with the Dolphins in the last month or so that Tua's coming along fine. Tua said he has no limitations on his hip, and he is ready to go. So maybe they might bring him in for like they did for Patrick Mahomes. His rookie year came in for 2 games, or whatnot, and played that rookie year. No. All I'm saying is you have to give the guy some experience moving forward. If this is the guy that you want to be your franchise quarterback, throw him in the fire. Let's see what he can do. What's up, dude?
Let me just add the X real quick before you go, bro. So, who are we talking about here? He took Fitzpatrick's place? Let's stop acting like Fitzpatrick is somebody in this league.
I'm not at all.
He's winning games.
Listen, Fitzpatrick is good for getting you to 6-0.
Yep.
Losing the playoffs. like that's the quarterback Fitzpatrick. What has Ryan Fitzpatrick done in the playoffs?
Okay, can I ask both of y'all a question? Can I ask both of y'all a question real quick? Do you see the Dolphins being contenders this year?
Off the top of my head,
no. Now I can see them making the playoffs with that extra playoff spot, and making the players a little extra money in their pocket for making playoffs.
So we're also talking about a rookie quarterback, just for the record.
And so let me draw back to what X was saying when he tried to reference my man,
Patrick Mahomes.
my homie, Patrick Mahomes. Okay, when we brought Patrick Mahomes in his rookie season, that was at the end of the season. It was like the last game against Denver when he started. That was his first start, was the last game of the season against Denver. He played a little bit the week before, but we were already in the playoffs, so it wasn't like he was playing for anything. That's why he started the game. We were resting starters. Patrick Mahomes sat his whole rookie year behind Alex Smith, okay? And then we get in the offseason, we transition the reins over, right? This team is not competing for a championship. This team is not going to make any noise whatsoever. Yeah, he might come in and spark them a little bit to maybe get into the playoffs, because right now they're 3-3 and the Patriots are sitting at 2-3. Okay, cool. But I don't understand why not just allow him to sit behind Fitzpatrick this year and continue to learn from this guy. You said they're doing a great job of transitioning him. Keep learning, and then next year you throw him to the Wolves. But why are you doing that right now? Like, to me, it just don't make sense. Why this year? What are you playing for that he needs to come in?
Again, they're 3-3 right now after 6 weeks. who knows what happens if they go 3-3 after 6 more weeks? You're 6-6. Again, with that division, it's not the greatest of divisions. You might get a chance to get into the playoffs with 8 wins. So who knows? Again, we have to wait and see what happens with the Dolphins. I'm not going to crown him, or I'm not going to kill Tua over one game this upcoming week, depending on how they do. But we've seen, maybe they saw what they see in LA with Justin Herbert, and they see that, man, if we just get him out there, even though he's going to make some mistakes, we just need him out there to get better, because that's the only way you get better is getting on the field, right?
Okay, but let me ask you this. He gets out there and he starts losing games. So they were winning with Fitzpatrick. He gets out there and starts losing games. You gonna pull him for Fitzpatrick? Because you can't do that.
It messes up. It messes up his mental.
Is it about winning games or preparing for the future?
That's the thing. That's the thing as well. Because if you don't care about winning games, you are preparing for the future. Then it don't matter, because that might have been a call from upstairs from the owner to say put Tua in.
Nope, you setting this man up for failure because you were winning games with Fitzpatrick.
But guess what, though? If the owner
losing, what does that look like to the fans? Because now fans are going to be looking at you like we were ahead of the Patriots. Now we losing games because we put Tua in.
You
put Fitzpatrick back in. What you going to do?
When the last time the Dolphins won a Super Bowl?
I'm not saying
Okay. So with that being said, the fans that are barely even there at Hard Rock, they could be okay with another losing season to get ready for a winning season next year. That is what they are okay. The Dolphins are fine as a fan base wise. That's all. Let's get to the comments right quick. Brett Reese, he says that's an ugly shirt, Ishmael, with the hand. Also, Timothy McLeod says he's hot and cold his whole career. He's talking about Tua Tagovailoa. Again, we're not gonna bring in his college career into the NFL. This is a completely new venture for Tua, so we're going to see, and we're going to judge him on what he does in the NFL.
Right, because Tua isn't better than Fitzpatrick. Just for the record.
That's what I'm saying. Like we have to wait and see. Let's go.
I hope he wins.
I don't got to hope nothing.
I'm flaming you.
The only thing I care about, Titans winning against Steelers. That's the only thing I care about.
2 weeks, I flame you.
You ain't going to flame nothing. I'll see you next week.
They had a good game and they lost. You still got to give.
I'm still flame.
You ain't gonna flame nothing. All right, when you throw for 5 touchdowns, I'm gonna look at you like this.
I'll be quiet.
All right. Speaking of people that had to be quiet after two thrusts by Aaron Rodgers, he didn't hit that third thrust. You already know it's a flag. The 2 thrusts, Aaron Rodgers. That game did not go the way that I think everybody thought it was gonna go. Watching it on paper. Seeing it on paper before the game started. I think we thought it was going to be a lot more of a shootout on both sides. It ended up being a shootout on just one side, with the Buccaneers taking that game pretty handily. Dooley, want to go ahead and start this one off?
Absolutely. Nobody thought that was going to go down how it did. You got Rodgers versus the old timer and Tom Brady, which had both had decent games, but in my opinion, Green Bay is in trouble. Here's why. We never know who they are. Year in, year out. Rodgers and company is never as big of a name as Aaron Rodgers is. They're never as dominant as they're supposed to be. And I'm sure everybody can make excuses. Oh, he's had a different OC. The defense doesn't do its job. Yada, yada, yada. Let me tell you something. And I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers is overrated. But you know who Aaron Rodgers is not better than? Let's talk about Peyton. Peyton used to drag bum defenses to the Super Bowl. Rodgers hasn't even been to the Super Bowl without a decent defense. Well, you get what I'm saying? So how good is Aaron Rodgers without a dominant defense to back him? You get what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Yeah, they're very upsetting. That kind of butt whooping in Tampa Bay, that was just unexpected. And the Packers should feel ashamed of themselves for that beatdown in Tampa Bay. And the Bucs even have defense, but the way the Bucs defense were playing, you would have thought they were Pro Bowlers. Jeez.
Yeah, I agree. Christine said 100. I agree as well. Ish, what you got for us?
I think one of the things we should be paying attention to, third straight game for Ronald Jones with over 100 yards. that is something to be paying attention to, only because if Green Bay is able to run the ball like that, I mean, Tom Brady only threw the ball 27 times, 166 yards, but for 2 touchdowns. So it's like Tom Brady's he's not being asked to carry this offense. He's got people around him that are helping him out. The running game is definitely helping him out. And like you mentioned, Dooley, that defense played lights out. 2 interceptions for Aaron Rodgers. Now, for the Green Bay, I'm not going to throw them under the bus just yet. They are 4-1. They are playing up there in the NFC North. They still got to take on the Chicago Bears. But I will say that they do need to figure something out. You can't have Aaron Rodgers being hot and cold. One week he's throwing a ton of touchdowns to your tight end, and then the next week he comes out and he's throwing 2 interceptions. Because when you're playing teams like potentially in the playoffs, you got Tampa Bay to look forward to. You got Seattle out there that's balling. I mean, you got a number of teams out here that you're going to have to play, and you're going to have to be on your game. So Aaron Rodgers, he does need to show that he's going to be able to compete in these big time games. And for me, this was a big time game for him, and he did not show up.
I agree. No, I agree. And I think this really showed more for the Buccaneers and the Packers, because the week prior, we had the meme heard around the world with the fours, right? Tom Brady forgot what down it was, and for Tom Brady to laugh about it, get over it, and make sure everybody on both sides of the ball was ready for this game. Hey, there's a lot of good things I think that came out of Tampa this week, because this is a game that they might look back on week 13, week 14, like, hey, this was the game that helped us prepare and propel us to where we are right now.
Exactly, because honestly, the way the Packers, going back to Rodgers and his lack of beating great defenses. Now, you can argue back in the Super Bowl, the Steelers were a great defense, right? James Harrison, Lamar Woodley,
Polamalu, Ryan Clark,
Ike Taylor. You could argue that. But I'm here to tell you, the only reason Rodgers had such a good game against them was because his defense kept putting Big Ben and them off the field. Come on. Big Ben and them didn't have a chance that game. You had Nick Collins up top, Charles Woodson, even though he got hurt the first half, Sam Shields balling, Clay Matthews coming around the edge like the devil. Big Ben didn't have a chance to throw the football that game. You know what I mean?
I got you. Let's bring it back to 2020, though. Let's bring it back to 2020. All right. I got you, though. I got you. We can get back into the quarterback debate in another day. Let's bring it back, and let's take it to Sunday Night Football in your state, Rams versus 49ers. Going into this game, I think most people probably would have picked the Rams, because the 49ers are a little hobbled coming into this game, especially Jimmy G coming off the game prior to that. If you saw that game, he was looking like Bambi out there because he could not put any pressure on his back leg. And this game, it looked like Jimmy G was a lot more healthier, and he was able to go out there and scorch the LA Rams for 23-33, 268 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's what the Niners need Jimmy G to do, is just do what you're supposed to do. Don't turn the ball over, and help us win games.
No, honestly, Ish, if you want to go, because I don't have much to say about this matchup. Both the teams suck to me.
I mean, I'll agree with you. I don't really have much to say about them. I mean, the Rams, they're 4-2, but to me, they're like a under the radar 4-2 kind of team. They're not really showing anything too special. And the 49ers, they've got so many injuries that you just don't know how they're going to play week in and week out. Like you said, a lot of people probably weren't expecting them to come out and play the way they did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of going to be that pretty much the rest of the season for me. I don't know if they're going to show up one week, and then the next week, Raheem Mostert's out now for a couple of weeks. Looks like he's going to go on IR. So at least 3 weeks. So how are you going to fill that in now? Is that going to hit the team? I don't know. They may come together, or they may come out and play like crap next week. I don't know. So
now let's remember, with all the injuries that the 49ers have, They still have more wins on the season than the Philadelphia Eagles. And we'll wrap that up and go ahead and head to the first Monday Night Football game this week, of course, because of schedule realignment. There were no Thursday Night Football games on this Thursday, so I know a lot of people were like hitting my line. Like, what's going on, X? What's Thursday Night Football game? Y'all need to make sure y'all pay attention. If you don't know what's going on with the broadcast for the week, you can always check out the Sports Plug on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll definitely keep you updated on the changes of the NFL season. So this game was an actual 4 o'clock Central start. So 2 o'clock out there in California. How you felt about a 2 o'clock football game, Dooley?
My man, I might be at work. Us Californians have to make money, okay? So when you talk about the game coming on at 2 o'clock, you better forget people in California watching it. You know, that's too early in the day. You get what I'm saying?
Well, so, sucks to be on the west side from time to time. It was perfect time for Central folks. I was off on Monday, so I had nothing to do but watch the game. So I apologize for you missing that one, but it was a pretty decent game. Chiefs Bills. Ish, you want to go ahead and start that one off? Know it's your team.
I mean, I just want to let me get close to the camera so I can see
wise African.
I can see you seeing me.
Okay.
Can you see me?
I see you.
Okay. I told you we are writing names down. Everybody that was talking your nonsense after we lost that one game, we are coming to beat your butt.
Okay.
I want to be. It's family friendly, so I will keep it very family friendly for you. We are coming for you. Okay. Let me say this. Just keeping it real though. Kansas City right now, dude. We played the Bills. There was a lot of hype around the Bills. Everybody was talking about my man Justin Allen and all that. Yeah, go sit that down. You're going to beat all your teams in your division. You can beat the Patriots and the Dolphins and all that, and the Jets, of course. But go ahead and sit that down. You aren't real contenders because we went ahead and dealt with that. Also, the fact that we are now signing Le'Veon Bell.
Yep, that's what I was going to get at. Back to Justin's comment on thoughts of signing Le'Veon Bell. And also Christine says when Bell plays, it's going to be even scarier.
My man Dooley just mentioned a guy that was once a Kansas City Chief and terrorized the league, Mr. Kareem Hunt. Y'all should be scared. Remember what Kareem Hunt was doing to y'all? Because Le'Veon Bell is coming and it's going to be worse. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was tearing the Bills up because he was like, hold on, we just signed Le'Veon. I got to make sure I can get some touches next week. And trust me, we got a two-headed monster that is going to rival any running back package in the league. We might even have Edwards-Helaire in the backfield and Le'Veon Bell in the slot. Y'all not gonna know what to do. And Reed about to come up with all kinds of trick plays for y'all. Everybody should be terrified and scared. If Le'Veon looked anything like the Le'Veon in Pittsburgh, my goodness, go ahead and crown us the Super Bowl champs again because Kansas City is coming for y'all. Man,
alrighty then. I'm happy week 6 got y'all get it like this because you better hope everything goes perfect because if something goes wrong, an injury, something in the locker room, which I don't think will happen because y'all have really good leadership.
Yeah.
Just whatever that could happen.
Somebody kicking a female.
Whatever, Okay, look, I didn't want to bring that up. I'm happy you brought it up. I didn't want to bring that up. But anyways, football is a long season and things could happen. And just because you sign Le'Veon Bell, it does not guarantee an automatic berth to the championship. But I will say, with it looking like on paper, it does definitely make the offense a lot more scary, a lot more versatile. And for a defense, if you are playing against them, it is going to be a hell of a 60 minutes of play.
Agreed. I definitely agree because, honestly, this team never even needed Le'Veon from the jump. They decided to grab him. Good for them. I don't want to think too big on it because Le'Veon still has to prove himself.
I agree.
And this is what I mean for those of you that don't agree, because I'm sure there's people that don't agree to that comment. Le'Veon hasn't had a great season in over 2 years. That in professional sports is a long time. You know what I mean? So Le'Veon he does have to be the same Le'Veon he was in Pittsburgh, as Ish was stating, but we don't know if he is. Took a year off, then he came back to pretty much the worst team in the NFL. You know, so that didn't help his chances by playing with the New York Jets. Okay,
It got paid though.
yeah. Now, for argument's sake, he still could have produced a bit more if he was that great of a player. Let me ask you this, and I'm not comparing.
Hold up. I got a question though. Can you produce when your head coach don't even want you though?
You got a job to do.
You don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball. Right?
That's all I'm saying though. You ain't like you're a quarterback. You're a running back.
We know the Jets suck. We know they don't have.
But again, though, it's not about them sucking. It's about the head coach didn't want you in the beginning. So how are you going to be able to set yourself up for success if you can't even touch the ball on every play like a quarterback?
But Andy Reid wants you. Le'Veon Bell, Andy Reid.
So best believe Andy Reid going to take care.
And all of Kansas City wants you. Okay.
And best believe he's not going to get no contract like that again. After this,
no.
Let me tell you what it's going to be. It's funny. I picture this all. He's going to play 2 years for the Chiefs. They're going to get rid of him. So, like, they're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay Le'Veon. The Chiefs are not worried about paying a damn running back.
No, we just want another ring. I mean,
right, exactly.
All right, like I said, y'all better. All I know is it ain't gonna mean a thing if it ain't got that ring.
Well, let me just say this: X,
you better win it all, baby.
I understand everything you're saying. Let me just say this right quick.
Yes, sir.
What is the worst that can happen? Last year we picked up LaShawn McCoy, and he ended up being deactivated for the Super Bowl. And look at what happened anyway. So what? It's a 1-year contract. He doesn't play well. Oh well, we just sit him down on the bench and we let the rookie keep doing his thing.
Okay, I agree. So like I said, we gotta wait and see how everything pans out. All right, last game of the Week 6 season. Of course, the Cardinals versus our favorite team in the whole wide world, the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if we should start with the Cardinals. We start with the Cowboys. Let's just go ahead and start with the Cowboys, and I'll go ahead and start it off because I was on the show last week and I said, "Hey, Andy Dalton has the weapons. Andy Dalton just needs to be Andy Dalton when it comes to being a game manager, being the guy to not turn the ball over, being the guy to not do anything more than he needs to do, and they will be okay as a Cowboy team moving forward." Well, it doesn't help you when your star running back fumbles the ball, not once but twice. And also, it does not help at all when your offensive coordinator asks you to throw the ball 54 times. You're not going... Andy Dalton, this is your first week playing as a starter, and you're going to throw the ball 54 times? Dak didn't even get a chance to throw the ball 54 times. You ain't gonna win no games for throwing the ball 54 times.
Not with Andy Dalton.
I mean, are you serious right now? I mean, but again, what I'm just trying to figure out with the Cowboys is because, and we talked about this all segment long today, the NFC least, they have an opportunity to still make the playoffs. But reports are coming out saying that Cowboy players are saying that the coaching staff don't know what they are doing. They also are running plays that are outdated, and they also are just from the reports that are coming out about Cowboy Nation, they are saying that the coaching staff is just they don't know how to make adjustments as well, and they are just pretty much sitting ducks when things go wrong. So if that is coming out from the Cowboys players at Week 6, I don't know about you guys, but it is going to be a long, rocky season for the Cowboys if that is true.
Can I just say, because I don't really care about the Cowboys that much, what has football come to in the state of Texas? You got the Dallas Cowboys doing what they're doing. You got the Texas Longhorns fighting amongst themselves about the eyes of Texas. I mean, this is just, everything is in shambles here. The Cowboys just can't help but be the Cowboys, okay? Either you love them or you love to laugh at them, because this is just typical Cowboy game. They should have come out and done, I mean, really, if you think about it, Arizona hasn't been playing that great.
Nope.
So you thought it was going to be a better game, and then for Zeke to come out, fumble twice, Then you want to throw the ball 54 times with Andy Dalton. Like, who thinks that's a winning strategy? McCarthy, go ahead. You can pack your bags. Jerry Jones, go find you another coach, I guess. Bring Jason Garrett back. You loved him so much. Maybe
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien's out
Bill
there.
O'Brien out there.
McCarthy could barely get it done with Rodgers. Okay.
Look, I got my bad to cut you off. Like I told Ish, if McCartney goes 3-13 this season, he's out of there. If they have to go maybe 8-8 for McCartney to be able to get a second year in Dallas. But if this year is horrible and the players rebel or they pretty much tell Jerry, hey, bro, this ain't working, he's out of there. He's done it before. He's done it before to better coaches. So, my bad. Go ahead, Dooley.
Oh no, I mean, all I was gonna say about this one was shout out to the young quarterback in Kyler Murray, man. This kid's showing us a lot. To me, he reminds me a lot of Russell Wilson. You know, nice small quarterbacks who can scramble but can also pass the football. You know, the Dallas Cowboys are just a complete debacle. They should have paid my boy Dak that money. You know, but it's business. Dak had a choice. Dak said no. Dak said, you know what? I'm still going to play. So things like that happen, right? You know, it's just part of the business. But outside of that, the Dallas Cowboys are a disgrace to football, you know, and yeah, I said it. Cowboy fans, your franchise is a disgrace, okay? And that's coming from a Washington football team fan. Okay, so you exactly. And who can I really talk about? Okay, first of all, we're tied in Super Bowls, 3 apiece. Just so everybody knows, the Cowboys and the Redskins have the same. The Cowboys have 4.
Cowboys have 5.
5. You're right. The ones in the
Cowboys have 5. Y'all have 3.
You're right. But who cares? The Cowboys modern day are trash. Okay, and that's just all I have to say. Anything else, boys?
Now, to finish it off, I will say, I don't know if y'all seen this on social media or not, but they did say Kyler Murray runs like a toddler running away from a butt whooping.
He really does. He really does.
I hate watching him run because I don't even play defense and I get mad trying to tackle him and I don't even need to tackle him because I bet he's just like that little kid when you play, backyard football. He's that little fast kid that you just cannot tackle and he just squirting through all these tackles. That's what Kyler Murray reminds me of.
Yep. But I mean, I'm not gonna give Kyler and the offense for Arizona too much props because they're playing the Cowboys. So really, what
you expected, what you got.
But I will say, Kirk, I'm still what's his name? Cliff. Cliff. I'm still looking at you, Cliff. You need to keep doing this because as soon as I give you props, you start turning the corner and doing terrible again. I need you to keep doing this because I want y'all to actually compete with Seattle. I think y'all got something in Arizona, but
Buda Baker out there in the back.
Your coaching skills to actually get something out of them players.
Yeah, we'll see how the Arizona Cardinals go moving forward. Very interesting team moving forward, and of course, Cowboys every week. This, if we love them or hate them, we're going to have to unfortunately talk about them.
Hopefully we'll laugh some more next week.
Yes, I know we will. Well, that will do it for this week of NFL Week 6 recap. I appreciate my boy Dooley, that man Dooley. Please let them know where they can find you.
Everybody, I have a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, That Man Dooley. You can follow me on Twitter at Dooley_DUZZ_DIS. Dooley does this. I'm That Man Dooley, though, baby. Appreciate you for having me on the show, Ed.
You already know, my brother. We'll definitely see you in the future. And Ish, I'll see you next week with Week 7 recap. Thank you guys for joining the Sports Plug.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone.